All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are now online on YouTube, so that is fine. So you're able to ask your questions. So you're able to ask your questions, but this is going to be basically on a Zoom platform. So good. Now, let's get to the crux of the matter. So, good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Sintieh Ekongefein, and basically, I'm a medical doctor by training. I completed my training in the University of Buea, Cameroon, and then completed a master's in applied digital health from the University of Oxford. And I'm a 2024 Mandela Washington alumni. I was sent in the leadership in civic engagement track at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. So 6 weeks were amazing. We're going to have other sessions to talk about my experience. But what I want us to do today is basically get you your skills and your writing skills up to date about building a very competitive application. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen. And if you can see my screen once you see it, please let me know. Which is going to be helpful for myself. Great, share screen and sound. Yeah, so that's how I'm going to do that. Excellent. So if you can see my screen, just let me know on the group if that's okay. Great. Please, can everyone see my screen? Hello?
Yes, okay. Yes.
All right. So again, once again, thank you very much for coming to this session. So we are not going to spend much of the time talking, but we're going to get into our hands really dirty about what the fellowship is. So today, it's one of two workshops, and the focus today is going to be basically highlighting what the Mandela Washington Fellowship is, talking broadly about do's and don'ts, and these do's and don'ts are really going to be based on what the fellowship is recommending for us to use while applying. And then we're going to look at the first part of the application. What I mean by the first part of the application, it means we're not going to touch the essays today, but every other thing around um, the application, just so that you understand how to craft your essays. And in our next meetup, we're going to look at really drill down onto what the modified essays of this year are really asking you to do to do. So that is why it's a closed session, and we want you people to really focus. So if we are good to proceed, just let me know. Is it okay up to this point?
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. So I'm going to scroll to the next page. And again, yeah, it's simple. The question is, what is the Mandela Washington Fellowship? I want anyone in the call to unmute and tell me what they know about the Mandela Washington Fellowship. Let me hide what I've written. Anyone, just unmute and share.
Well, I know the Mandela Washington Fellowship is a U.S. program to empower young African leaders and through capacity building and through capacity building. That's just what I know.
All right, great answer, perfect. Any other one on the forum wants to share what they know about the Mandela Washington Fellowship? Hello. Any other
Okay,
person wants to share? Yeah.
In addition to what in addition to what he just mentioned, I would say that it's also an opportunity for us to meet other people It's an opportunity to collaborate with other people and learn from others, like to meet diversity.
All right, that's brilliant. So all your answers are correct. So the Mandela Washington Fellowship, this is what I've extracted from what the main document that IREX is sharing. It's a flagship program funded by the U.S. State Department. So it's a program of the U.S. State Department, funded by the U.S. government, and it is delivered by an organization called IREX. So in the greater part of our workshops, you always hear me talking about IREX. So IREX is an international educational institute that basically trains exchange programs. And so they are the people providing all the learning materials during your Mandela Washington Fellowship. So from this point in time, I'm going to be calling Mandela Washington Fellowship MWF. I know it's not a new thing, but so MWF is basically delivered by IREX. It's funded by the US government. Okay, so that's basically what the program is. Are we together?
Yes, sir, we are together.
Yes, we are.
Good. Now, so the program brings 700 young leaders, African leaders, every year into the US, and you'll be in institutes. This year there were 48 institutes, and so 25 leaders were spread across 48 institutes. And that's it. So it's a mix, like you rightly said, it's an opportunity for you to learn from your own peers, to network with others. So you're going to be with people of other nationalities. In my institute, for instance, we had 21 African nationalities from the 25 of us. So that meant some countries had more than one participant. So that is the beauty of it. So how the fellowship runs is that I decide to see that the program runs in 3 phases. So we have a 6 weeks institute training, and so you'll be sent to a particular university. So there are lots of the universities, you see them on the platform when you go to the tab of the institute partners and all of that. And then at the end of the program, we then meet in Washington, D.C. So there's a summit in D.C. Where now all 700 of us are in one place. And again, it's another very immersive experience where we also meet US leaders who have been part of the program. And also we have the opportunity to network with our various peers and ask their fellowship experience in their institutes. So, and then there is what we call an optional professional development experience. In the forum, somebody asked about the PDE, which I'm going to highlight about that. Yeah, so the professional development experience is what we refer to as PDE. And basically what that is an internship. Okay, it's an internship experience where based on your application, you're going to be taught, or you're going to work in an organization that is going to really show you how they do things, and then you can bring that back to your African country or to Cameroon in particular. Now, that is what the fellowship is grossly. And is there any question at this point in time? All right, so I get silence for okay. So next we're going to look at is the selection process and selection criteria. While this is very important is because I really want you to know what is your strength, what is the one thing that you win from. In our form, when we were coming into this coaching session, there was a question there that which selection or eligibility criteria aligns best to you. And I would say that 99% of us got that answer wrong. Well, not wrong, but you didn't answer the question. You didn't give the answer that the reviewers were looking for. So with that said, what are the reviewers looking for? Okay. Anyone who can read my screen, can you just read me this first line, this first paragraph, sorry.
Are you getting me?
Yes, 515, go for it.
The fellowship selection process is a merit-based open competition. After the deadline, all eligible applicants will be reviewed by independent readers.
Mm-hmm.
These readers will use the following criteria to evaluate applications, not in order of importance.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much for reading. So I want us to look at keywords. And one thing I want people to take home, one of the things I want you to take home here is you being able to pick what the reviewers or the organization is looking for in your application. That's just the mindset you have to do. Don't tell me your story. Tell me what I want to hear. So what does the MWF, IREX, US State Department look for in their participants? So they said it is a selection process that is merit-based, open competition. Please, I want people to have this at the back of your mind. It is an open and merit-based competition. Very important. So we are not saying that you are not good enough. You are good. But can you classify yourself as better than other persons who are good enough? And if everybody is good enough, can you classify yourself as very good? Yes. And if everybody is very good, can you present yourself as being above the very good persons? And if yes, you are above the very good persons, are you excellent? And so if you're excellent, then it means you are the ideal candidate. So you see, I move from good, good enough, very good, and excellent. That's how it's graded. So you have to be excellent. And if everybody is excellent, then please be that A star, be that excellent plus person. So that is how we want your applications to be there. And so you get the part. So all eligible participants, another word here is eligible participants, and we're going to look at the eligibility criteria. I think we've already looked at that. All eligible participants will be reviewed by independent readers. So the readers don't know you, and most of them are alumni who've gone through the process. At least they've been 2 years alumni or 3 years alumni before they're reading this, and there's a vetting process that goes through to select them. So let's look at the criteria of selection. So the first criteria here is a proven record of leadership and accomplishment. Business, entrepreneurship, and civic engagement, and all public office. Proven record of leadership and accomplishment. So what proves your leadership? That's what I'll ask all of you today to answer the question in your quiet time. What proves your leadership? Okay? What proves your leadership? Please don't define leadership. Some people tell you define leadership in your applications. I'm not a fan of that. I'll say show, don't tell. What proves your leadership? What is the evidence of your leadership? So sit back at the end of today and say, in my business, we have people in business here. In my volunteer work, we have people who are civic leaders. In the office I'm working for, be it in the government or in private sector, what proves my leadership? What are the things you're doing that proves your leadership? So this is that day that you're going to take a blank sheet, a blank canvas. This is my writing tablet, and write everything that proves your leadership. And then you're going to now start narrowing them down to the most impactful. So what proves your leadership and what demonstrates, I'm using the words that they're using, demonstrates your accomplishments. So very important things, leadership and accomplishment. So I am a leader. Yes. Yeah, we accept, we agree. You're a transformational leader. You're a great leader. But again, what do you have to back that up with? That saying. So these are two things I want us at the end of today. So you see the way I'm working through the workshop. It's basically using what the reviewers are looking for to really empower you. So at your back of your mind, throughout the entire application form, you should be answering this question. This should be at the back of your mind. Yes, I am a leader. Show us. Don't tell us. Again, in every application I have done or I have coached people through, I always tell you, use this word, show, don't tell. And you're going to see examples of showing and not telling. So this is what I want us to take home for this selection criteria. Are we okay at this point? Is it all good?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, doctor.
All right. Good. So I'm going to you have to move now. Yes, good. So that's it. Now, who can read this next bullet for me? Hello?
Yes.
Yes,
Am I
go for it.
reading it? Mhm. A demonstrated commitment to public or community service, volunteerism, or mentorship.
Good. So a demonstrated commitment. Again, the words demonstrated commitment. So in whatever you're writing, show. That's what demonstration means. Show, don't tell. Show, don't tell. That's what I'll tell you people. So in your experience in the work you're doing, what is showing your commitment to one public service? So you see they've written these three things: public service or community service, volunteerism or mentorship. Now, I'm going to say this. Some people want to write on all three of them, which is totally fine. Okay? Which is totally fine. But again, like I said on Sunday, for those who attended, does this add up? Does this add up? That's what I am just simply going to tell you. Make sure it add up. Make sure it accumulates to one message, okay? To one thing. Now, and then mentorship. So I'm going to give you an example of what adds up for someone who wants to highlight these three things. And I'm going to give you an example for someone who wants to highlight just one in make it their strength. So there should be always something at the forefront. So for instance, demonstrated commitment to public service. So I'm going to use myself as an example. I am a medical doctor. I see patients on a daily basis. But I did not end there. That is what my job is. So I did not get this because I'm a medical doctor, but because of my community engagement and impact work. And so because I am a medical doctor and I see patients suffering from chronic diseases like diabetes, hypertension, stroke, and heart attacks, and it's affecting younger persons more, I decided to lead health campaigns in my community. So we have started running health campaigns every quarter, every month, and we educate people on all of these things. And we've done that in 5 health areas of the 10 in our community so far, and we are hoping to reach all 10. Okay, so that is you using your public and community service, showing what you're doing. That's what you're committed to doing in addition to your routine work. And so, yes, they know this is a medical doctor, but this is a medical doctor who has civic engagement, who has impact. Now, volunteerism. In the light of educating people about chronic diseases, I am volunteering in other non-profit organizations within the country. For instance, Welisane Foundation, for instance, Hero and all of that. And all what we do is doing their own health campaigns. I come in as someone who has experience to educate people as well. So I'm not just doing this for my public work, but also I'm supporting other organizations. Mentorship. In addition to my work, I am also supporting a group of medical personnel in this journey of the fight against non-communicable diseases. And so we have trainings and we have a closed WhatsApp group where I share tips of how to educate people and how to train people. And so I've been doing this for 5 years plus now, and I have worked with over 1,000 medical professionals, and this is the impact of our work. So again, was I telling or was I showing for those who are listening?
Showing.
Showing,
Showing.
showing.
Okay, for those who said showing, can you give an example of what I said that made you think that it was showing?
Okay, for me, I would say that by telling the the jury members that out of 10 regions you have reached out to 5 regions already, I think that's already one proof. By saying that by mentioning the NGOs where you volunteer is another proof. So that's how you showed your work.
Thank you very much. I'm satisfied with that answer, and that is good. So do we understand how we can make ourselves competitive or differentiate ourselves from other applicants with this particular criterion?
Yes.
All right. So,
Sir, please,
yes, question.
I need that you explain again the difference between show and telling.
All right. Thank you very much. Great. So I'll give you an example of showing. Okay. Hello, everybody. I am Sintieh. I am a very amazing leader from Cameroon, and so far I have been able to impact a lot of people in Cameroon, and I am very passionate about ending non-communicable diseases. And this passion is what I live on every day. When I go to work, I think about the people who are suffering. I try to work for them, and in my consultation, I talk about this every day, and that is what I do.
That's still
That's telling.
telling.
Oh, good. So you see, now let me change the message. Hello, everybody. I am Sintieh. I'm a medical doctor, and I'm passionate about ending non-communicable diseases in Cameroon, in particular in Africa. And how I do that is that on a daily basis, I manage the non-communicable disease clinic in my hospital where we have a cohort of over 500 people. In addition to that, because I am passionate about improving my community, I go out to the community on a monthly basis doing health campaigns. And so far, we've assessed 5 health areas out of 10, and we've impacted over 1 million lives. In addition to that, I also give bi-monthly health education tips on our national TV called CRTV in Cameroon. And this I discuss with an audience of at least 5 million televiewers. And this doesn't end there. I volunteer in other NGOs such as the Welesane Foundations and Hero, where I also leverage on their platforms to educate people on this. And I mentor other healthcare professionals within my team to keep this fight alive. Are we together?
Yes,
Wow.
Doc.
So you see, it's the same story, right? But one is telling and one is showing. And so you see that your own story, you might sell yourself less by just telling and not showing, and then you'll not be selected. So that is why I think for me, these are the very important things you have to have in the back of your mind before you're applying. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes,
Did I
sir.
answer your
Thank you.
question? Good,
Yes, sir.
perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a hand raised here. Please feel free to unmute and ask your question.
Hi, Doc. Good evening. Good evening to everyone. This is Karin.
Yeah.
The question I want to ask is, maybe I would like you to show your show. No, you said we shouldn't tell. We should show your leadership and your leadership experiences using the STAR approach, for example, because that remains a big challenge to me. How can you show this using that STAR approach, like starting from the situation, like what motivated you to get into this non-communicable disease? So I just want you to show it a little bit using the STAR approach, if you don't
Can
mind.
I?
Okay.
All right. Can I plead with you to bring this towards the end? It's
Okay,
going to
great.
be a
Yeah.
good way for me to give a teaser to our next session, which is really showing you how to answer the essays. And the STAR approach is one of the
Okay.
approaches to answer the essays. But I'm just going through the eligibility criteria and giving you background knowledge. I am going to walk you through the STAR approach. Don't be afraid.
Okay.
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 But
Great. Thank you.
I'm going to give you a teaser of it when we are closing, just so that we have a back of our mind what to expect during the next workshop. Are
Okay.
we together?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much. Yes.
Yeah.
And keep that thought. If I don't answer you, please shout at me. Okay.
I'm bringing it back. Sure.
All right. Perfect. So, Karin, don't go. Just read the next eligibility criteria for us.
Okay. The next, I hope my eyes don't fail me. The ability to work cooperatively in diverse groups and to respect the opinions of others.
All right. Thank you. Again,
Mm.
note that all of these criteria, none is there's no import that like no there it's not arranged in order of importance. So you have to make sure that you are able to highlight as many of them as possible. So how do you work cooperatively? Again, so you see, this is me giving you ideas on how to craft your essays, and then tomorrow we're going to work on you really actually crafting your essays. You get the point? So how do you show that you're working cooperatively? Remember, above I said, I am working with a team of medical doctors and we've been training people. Okay. So we don't just expect you to work cooperatively, but you need to work with diverse groups. And this is a very big word, diversity. Okay. And it has to stand out. So diversity can be in many cases: gender, profession, race, okay, qualifications, etc. So in another session, I'll talk about uh, diversity looking at two things or in two branches. So I'll look at it in two branches, which I'll say one is skill-based and genetics or demographic. And if you break down into those categories, you're going to have this way. So in skill-based, we're going to bring things like profession, right? Level of education, okay, and yeah, various qualifications. We're going to correct the typos later. And then by demographics, right? We're going to now look at things like gender, race, and all of that. So, go back, no, this is not what I want. Caps lock is off, I know, yeah. So, delayed profession, yeah, we good. And then qualification as well. So gender, race, sexual identity. All right. Yep. So then fix this qualifications. So this I'm doing so that you have a feel of what they mean by working with diverse, collectively, cooperatively with diverse groups. So this is just my own way of classifying things because it's easier for me to answer the questions or discuss it. So am I looking at it being a skill-based? Skill-based. So I'm not just working with doctors, okay? I'm working with doctors, okay? Nurses, community health workers, journalists, diplomats. For instance, Belisane is a diplomat, okay? What will you have? Lawyers, children. No, that is just profession. Children will come to race and all of the other things. So you see, so when you're discussing how you're working, you want to show that you in your team or with the people you work with, they come from these professions. So that's you showing your diversity. Again, I'm working at various levels of education. So I don't just have doctors, I have community health workers who are not maybe trained to the level of a doctor, but they are participating. I work with they call them local leaders. So like the chiefs and fronts of particular communities, the quarter heads and all of that. You want to show how your work brings all of these people together. You get the point. So again, these are various levels of education. Qualification, you can put that in academia, as well as you can put that as business people. In the business sphere, you want to look at, again, various qualifications. Are you working with people who are into tech? Are you working with people who are into agriculture and all of that? So look at all of that. And so academic, business, and I'll call these I don't want to use the word leadership, but I want to use the word authority instead of leadership. So again, I'll use these legal authorities. So you don't have to put all of these, okay? But again, this is just an idea to give you how you look at diversity. And so when you're writing, you're asking yourself, again, what is the thing I'm working on? What is my leadership? How am I showing my leadership? Again, as you're showing your leadership, what are people I'm engaging with? So that's how you show now your diversity. So gender, again, we're going to put all of that. Race, you're definitely working with Africans, you're working with Cameroonians. You can identify that you're working with people of various ethnicities, okay? And if you are collaborating with people outside the country, mention it. Mention the various nationalities that you have in your team. Okay, if you are based in Cameroon, you might have other Nigerians, you might have Ghanaians in your teams, you might have other people. So mention those nationalities. Again, if you're working with people who identify as gay, lesbians, and things like that, you want to also mention them in your application. So are you working with other people in your teams? And how are you supporting them and all of that? So and then straight. So that should have various sexual identities. So you want to be able to show that in your application. Um, can we say that, is this clear enough? Are there any questions?
Well, just to think that maybe if you're also working with minority groups or people with disabilities, it's also a good area where you can bring in that diversity.
So exactly, people with disability. Now, what I'm going to say about disability is that disability is a whole big thing, and some people, their focus is on disability. So in that group of people with disability, so I'm going to take this out. I'm going to take this back out and put this here. Disability is independent. Okay, thank you for bringing this point, but disability is independent. And so in disability, how do you incorporate, my English is escaping me. How do you incorporate the above skilled and demographics? Right? Are we together?
Yes, Doc.
Yeah, so basically sorry about that interruption. That's what I want us to think about it. So if you're working with disability groups, again, describe your team. Yes, you're working with disability groups. How do you incorporate that? Now, if you're not working with disability groups, all right, are there people who are skilled who have a disability in your group? Right? So you see, you can play it in both ways, right? So are there people who are skilled who have a disability? For instance, you might have a lawyer in your team who is blind. For instance, I have a very good friend who is blind and he's a lawyer and he's doing great things. He was one of the best fellows I met this year. So are you working with someone with disability? Mention it, okay? In your team. Now, if your focus of your work is on disability, then how do you incorporate these things in that if your work is focused? Hand raise, go for the question. I'm listening.
Okay, Doc, thank you very much for the explanation. Please, I wanted to find out, like, I want to know if I'm understanding. Is it that you must be like the visionary of a group, or if just being like part of the group or an association that does all these activities, you can like highlight all these things, or you must be like the leader. I mean, like the main founder of the group. I don't know. I'm just trying to understand. And also, I wanted to know if it is possible for you to take an example, like applying it to business, like entrepreneurship. I don't know,
Mm.
like because
Yeah, I'm
I
going to
don't
talk
get.
about entrepreneurship. Yeah, it's fine. It's good. Yeah, I'll get into the points. Thank you. Yeah. Go for it. So one, must you be the founder or leader or whatever? And two, can we talk about business, right?
Yes, Doc. Yes.
All right. Perfect. Those are very brilliant questions, and thank you very much. So what I'm going to say is, no, you must not be the founder. Okay. And yes, we're going to talk about business. And so we have people who are in a position to exert change. For instance, this example now is a bad example because it's not in business, but let me use a business example. So I used to work for a health tech startup. I was not the founder or the CEO, but I was managing the patients with chronic diseases. And so the question would be, how do I tell my story in that organization? And so, yes, I am the medical advisor for Health Lane Cameroon. It is a digital health startup in Cameroon. And over the last 1 year working with Health Lane, my role has been to see the people living with chronic diseases that come to that organization for support. And so what I do on a day-to-day basis is consult these patients, assess their baseline values, and now report them and track them over time. And so I have been able to contribute in this organization by providing medical insights to what is necessary in building that platform and also supporting the ongoing management of these people who are our current users. So far, I have managed over 250 persons on this platform and currently following up 100 on a weekly basis. Um, with respect to developing this platform, I am involved in the product development team, where my review is reviewing what the tech and software guys are developing and ensuring that this platform is usable by the patients I am talking to and by the healthcare professionals on the platform. Have I answered your question?
Yes, Doc, you have answered. Thank you very much.
So, so that is it. That's a business. And that is you not being the CEO and founder, but you showing your leadership. The question is always, tell us what you do. But now you're not saying it alone, you're saying it as part of a team, but you're making sure that you show your contribution. So my work is around seeing the patients, following them up, and then looking at these tech guys and saying, this icon that is on this end is not supposed to be here. Bring it this way because the patients will be able to have access to it. Or we are supposed to do a reminder every week and not every month. So that is my insight, and that is how I contribute. And now that is how I work now with a diverse group of what? Patients, tech guys, the CEOs, and other people involved, the funders. So you see that you're telling your story, but you're not just telling your story, you're showing them your work. Are we together?
Yes, Doc.
All right. So the next criteria are things that you meet mostly at the level of the interview. And again, when we get to the interviews, as we are in the forum, we're going to have a session to prepare you for interviews, which is going to be strong. So again, they say strong communication, strong social and communication skills. So yeah, I'm just going to highlight, like I said on Sunday, for those who attended, please make your social media handles visible. So from this day, right, if you're talking and you say your name is Sintieh, if they write Sintieh on the search engine, they should be able to see you. That's what I mean. So if you are a business entrepreneur and you're working on you have a sales platform, or you're having a restaurant, please, your restaurant should be available on social media. To build a website is costly, but you can leverage with social media pages. So have that restaurant. I don't know, Minette mentioned that she's managing a restaurant. So have your name, have that restaurant available on social media so that when these reviewers want to fact check you, they'll be able to see it. And then post on social media regularly. And yeah, why am I saying that? Because between now and when you complete your application and when they're reviewing, you might have some new impact things that you're doing and you want people to see it. Now, again, not everyone that got selected was on social media. Some people were selected because their applications showed and did not tell. So if you're unable to show on your application, social media, websites, it's another way to help people see, because at the end of the application, they'll ask you for links to all of these things. So please have them fact checked. Yes, I see a hand up. Please go for it.
Yeah, so my question is, if your experience in leadership is an experience that dates back like 1 year ago, maybe for something you're currently not into, or maybe it was just a project that has come to an end, maybe a project that ran for 2 3 years and it has come to an end, and that's where you have the most of your impact, and that's the story you want to share. And is that still acceptable? Now the next thing is, like I was going to ask the question, what if much about that project was not documented? Because as at the time you did not have much of the knowledge of documenting it, but maybe you're able to show exactly what you're able to do.
All right.
How do you advise in that?
So you've done a lot. It has not been written on social media or written somewhere. But you have the facts.
Yeah.
So if you're looking, if on my screen I'm saying that I was about to type that these are things I will highlight on when you're writing, because there's a way
Okay.
of presenting your work, because at times your essay is all you have. That's fine. Your essay is all you have. Your application is all you have. So how do you put those words in a way that demonstrates your impact? Okay, like I said, I know of people who are not on social media, who are not online, but they've been selected for the fellowship, and all they submitted was their essays and application. So it's again around effective communication. Okay, it's effective communication. It's around writing. So when we get to the nitty-gritties of writing your essays, we're going to tailor down your story. And yes, it's okay if you've done something a year ago and you're not again in it. There will be an essay question that you can use that impact or that experience to put it in it. But now I cannot tell you, because once you've put your story, because that's why I said today have a blank canva and keep writing all of this, looking at these criteria and jotting down things that tie to your application. So that's just what I'm going to say for now. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine for now. Thank you.
Okay. So showing that you're energetic, positive, and flexible goes around how you tell your story. Okay. And so when we're writing the essays, I'm also going to elaborate on that. So, and again, when you're talking in the interview, you want to show that energetic, you get me even while I'm communicating. You see, when I want to emphasize on something, my volume goes up. When I'm listening to somebody, I go down, I pick in attention. I'm flexible to listening, to typing, to letting somebody read what is on my slide. So these are just things I'm showing that you can demonstrate. Now, how do you show that on your application? It's really based on how you write. Okay, how you write, and we're going to look at the details of that on your essays. So we are running out of time. We've stayed on these criteria, but I think it's important. So um is this bullet okay? Are we together?
Yes,
Yeah.
doctor.
Good, good, good. Excellent. Hello, everybody. So the next point says that it demonstrates a knowledge of, interest in, and professional experience. Again, I've highlighted them in the preferred fellowship track. We're going to go there shortly. And concrete goals of applying knowledge and skills for the fellowship to their current and or future work. So this is a very important criteria that I want people to pay attention to. So they said knowledge of and interest in. I've said the story. So I'm going to take an example of a business idea. Okay. So we have this fellow who is making reusable parts, okay, and selling them at a low cost, very basically manufacturer rate to the end users. Okay. So demonstrated knowledge in. So this person is going to basically tell them in the application, say, I am a healthcare professional. I am a nurse by training, and I have been working in the sexual and reproductive health space for 1 year or 6 months. And during this, I found out that teenagers struggle with buying parts over and over. And so I saw that there was a problem in this situation of star. Are we together? I saw that there was a problem in this. And so I started the creation of reusable parts. And for doing that, I have worked with leaders in A, B, C, D, E. And my startup idea is called X. And we hope to basically end menstrual stigma and reduce the cost of buying parts for teenage girls. So that is a summary, right? Now, this person in the application, they're going to basically break down their goals on how they want to achieve that mission. But you see that they've already shown how their interest came in. They've already shown their professional experience. And now they've shown why they've gone down to a business track and not an impact track. Okay? So that is how you tell your story. Again, these are all criteria that you put in your mind while you're answering your essays and how you're crafting your entire application. Okay? So are we clear on this point?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm simply going to say share your knowledge in the field you are working in. Don't be shy. Say it out. This is where nobody knows it better than you. If you are working in any place, you are the boss of that region. So show that you are a credible authority in that space. Are we together?
Yeah.
Good. So show, so tell it again. We all have seen examples of showing, so that's it. A commitment to return to Africa. So please, everybody has to return home. Okay, please don't go there and try to stay. So what I'm going to say here is that you have more opportunities of returning to the US once you've come back than staying there and absconding. And so please, if you want Cameroon to be awarded more spaces, we have just 17 spaces now. Please come back. And so show to your application your next plan. That's why your goals are very important. Like we said on Sunday, you're going to show your immediate plan when you come back from the fellowship, your short-term and long-term plan. Again, these are ACEs. So you're going to show your immediate, short-term, hyphen, and long-term plans or goals. And remember, they have to be smart. All of this, I think we know what smart is. So are we together? So these are the eligibility criterion. And for me, this is the most important to have at the back of your head when you're applying. We've taken almost 50 minutes to go through this, but I hope that it was worthwhile. Do we have any questions on this? Do you have any questions on this? All right, so I'm going to now, PDE is an internship that after the fellowship, a select group is basically 100 of the 700 are sent to organizations in the US for PDE. So for you to be selected for the PDE, again, you have to show the potential of growth through the PDE. So here again, you see the keywords are the same, demonstrating some prior work experience, but room for grow and learn during the PTA. So I am an entrepreneur. I run a restaurant in Boya, Cameroon. And so far we have been providing healthy meals using our local Cameroonian cuisine. And over these years, I've had success stories from people who live with chronic diseases like diabetes to tell me that following the diet proposals I will be giving them in the restaurant, they have been stable with their blood sugar. So I seek for a PDA experience because I want to be in a US restaurant or healthy firm and see how to build better menus or more menus that will support people living with chronic diseases. So this is another person having a restaurant like Minette here, whose focus is providing healthy diet, and so reducing the pill burden by just providing healthy diet. And so that is why they want to do a PDE, so that they will find themselves in a restaurant or a healthy meal or an organizational focus in that space for chronic diseases, and then they learn through it. You got it. So then now you have to state your specific goal. So you see, in that introduction that I did, I already stated what I want to learn. I want to learn on menus and things that can work for chronic diseases. Very specific, and that's what I need for that internship. Okay. And then what are the skills you're going to learn? So again, you want to learn how to build these menus. When you come back, you and your restaurant team, you're going to learn from there. And well, demonstrate English fluency, which is a given, right? And then now you have to show that, again, you're going to go back to the application guide and going to see the goals of the PZE and see how this story that you've told aligns with your goals and that of the US organization you're showing. So another thing I even like during the fellowship, I was not very happy with some of our fellows is that you are leaders in your zone, and these people in the US also want to benefit from your experience. So you're not just going to learn. So again, in my restaurant, I have shown that I have success stories. And so we have Cameroonian menus, which are healthy by default. And so they have US menus, and they have to build on healthy meals. And so you bring now, say, okay, over the last 1 year, I've been doing this in Cameroon. And so this is how we prepare protein to make it healthy. This is how we prepare carbohydrates to make it healthy. And this is how we do this. And so for me, this is what has worked for the group of people I'm working with. Do you think this could help you in your firm? So you are showing themselves that you are an authority. So they have black groups in the US. So you tell them that, okay, so this can be another line of business. This can be another line of customer care. So you want to tell them that to increase your revenue as an organization, why not build an African supply for healthy meals? And you are happy to partner with them to be able to supply them those resources when they need them, and also be the expert of African meals. So now, what does that give you? At the end of your internship, a job, an international job. You're in Cameroon and you'll be consulting for them, that you're preparing meals for them, okay? And if they have people of color, black persons who are coming to their organization and they need first-hand meals, you can take the business model in any direction. So you can just give the consultancy direction, or you can take up and link up with another people who are taking food from Cameroon to the US to supply with them. Again, that is it. So that is what I want people to take home for those who are paying attention to the PDE. So that is how you share your story, and that's how you show that you are not just coming to learn, but you are coming as a leader in your space, and you're going to be contributing as well. You're not. It's a win-win. Okay, it's a win-win. You're giving and taking, not just taking. Is the PDE clear?
Well, I had a question. I think I'd raised a question in the group, and I think this is an opportunity for me to ask here. I
Go
was
for
going
it.
to ask how strongly you're going to encourage somebody to go for the PDE, someone who has probably a job back in the country, or probably a business that is awaiting their presence urgently after the summit. How strongly will you encourage someone to go for this PDE? In other words, yeah, how strongly do you encourage someone to do, someone who has those constraints around him?
Yes, how strongly, in my opinion, if you really value, if you really think that you need an internship experience in the US, then it's fine. Now, it's going to be based on, have you found organizations you want to work in ahead of time? Have you found a particular need you want to learn during that time? So forget it. You're going to be away for 6 weeks. If you add that to add 4 weeks, if you add that to 10 weeks, if they have to steal your money in your business, it's fine. Okay. It's not going to change, right? So you have to be able to strike the balance. So so prepare yourself to be away for 3 months and do the necessary things. Talk with your boss if you are employed and tell them this is an opportunity. So if you are employed, you have to show your bosses how this fellowship and this PDE aligns with your own company's mission and vision. So you're going to be doing the same thing you're doing to MWF and IREX to your bosses. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
if you are the entrepreneur and you have staff who will be working for you, then you want to make sure that you put in systems that is going to actually ensure that they are reporting to you and the business runs. You might not make profit during that time, but see the profit as the skills you're gaining and the new things you're going to learn. For instance, if you are the person owning that restaurant and you do a PD and then you have the opportunity to consult for that US firm or for that US organization and you have a deal to supply them Cameroonian meals, I don't think the money you lose in that 3 months that you're not on your business will surpass that contract that you get. You get the point? So
Yeah.
look at it as what am I looking for intentionally? Again,
Okay.
don't just go for a PD because people are going for PDE.
Mm.
But am I going to have value? If you don't have that answer, please don't go for it. Please don't. Don't just go for it because you want to stay in the US for an additional 1 month. Come on. Come back to your business and then use the 6 weeks that you've learned in the institute and the skills you've gotten and change your business during that 1 month. But if you think that this is what I'm going to get during this internship, then go for it.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? This one, we're just going to run through them. The application sections. Any questions, any worries, any doubts? So far, for eligibility criteria, please, this is the most important for me. This is the most important thing. The selection process, please, I hope we've taken notes. I hope we've written as much as we can write. And yeah.
And we hope you
So,
share your document with us.
I'm going to share it at the end of the second workshop.
Please, please.
Well, I'm going to cut this part out and share it with you
Okay,
people.
thank
That's
you.
fine. Yeah. Yeah, hand raise, go for it. Dora?
Yes, it's wanted to ask this one, the last part, hunger age.
I am struggling to hear you. Can you take that again? Can you take that again, or can you type it in the chat?
I'm talking about like the part when you're talking about the age, like when you're I mean your back, like the expect your account. So you're supposed to like present your short term plan because you said you're supposed to present your short term plan. I don't know if I and long term. I mean short term goals and long term goals. So I know if when you selected me,
Network is broken.
then what I don't know. So I just really wanted to understand.
All right, Dora, can you
because
just
I do
type?
not really understand it.
All right, I think your network is better now. Can you take that
Before
over again, please? Can you take that over again? Like just start all over because I was struggling getting you. It was breaking. Hello? Hello?
okay, I was just hello.
Yeah, can you type the
Hello.
question in the chat? Can you type the question in the chat, please? Just so that we get you. Hello. Hello. Seems, yeah, so all right. I didn't get her clearly. If anyone had a grasp of what, please just let me know and then I might answer the question, but hopefully she can type the question in the chat when she joins back. All right. Application sections. Basically, eligibility criteria. Please make sure that your age and date of birth ties what is on your passport, please. And your country of residence, it's an African country. You should be based in Africa when you're applying or when you're selected for the program, because you're going to be received by your local US embassies. So you're going to be received by the local embassy in Yaoundé for your interview. So you have to be based in based in Africa. It's very important. Okay, so that's eligibility criteria. I picked this out because I know people always struggle with this, and they've elaborated that in the application guide, which is indicate what location you are in and type what best describes you. So this is it. A major city is that, blah, blah, blah. So please look at this. Are you in a major city? Are you in another town? Like those of us who are based in Buea, Cameroon, I think it's a major city or it's another town. It's between these two. And those of us who are in rural areas, you can then pick which part is a rural area for you. So yeah, so basically, these are things you need to know where you are. Minette, your hand is raised. Please go for it.
Okay. But I want to ask, what if you are not in Cameroon? You were in Cameroon when you started the application, and by the time you are selected, you are not in Cameroon. How do you manage that?
You forfeit your position. You must be in Cameroon at the time. You must be in Cameroon. You must leave from Cameroon to the fellowship. So those of us that have plans of traveling, if you know that June will not meet you in Cameroon, think about it. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, I've understood. Thank you.
All right, so that's it. So if you have plans of traveling, think if this is what your time, if you'll not be around at the time, or you'll be around. And if you're not certain, there's no harm in applying. And if you're called for the interview in December or January and you're not around, you tell them that you're not around. They're going to give your slot to another person. So yeah. And what I tell people is that no application is useless. This is a learning journey. Most of the things you've learned today, you'll be able to transfer it to your other applications because all you're changing is your focus and not your story. Your story is the same, but how do you tell it to another person? So you have to state whether you have a passport. Is that okay, Minette?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So you have to indicate whether you have a passport or not, but it's fine. Don't need your passport and your informations by the 26th of February. So if you do not have a passport, now is the time to apply. It's very easy these days to get a Cameroonian passport for those of us in Cameroon. I think in most countries already. So you need to have your passport by February and also by March if you're doing PTE. So that's it about the key eligibility criteria I thought I should highlight. Do we have any questions on this?
I think she's put her question on the chat.
All right.
She says, please, I wanted to know to who we are supposed to present our immediate short and long-term goals. I didn't get that part well, please. I don't seem to understand her question, but that's the
Yeah.
question she has in the
Yeah.
chat.
So yeah, it in your application, somewhere in the application form, you're going to be asked your goals for the fellowship or your goals. I think it's one of the essays. What are your goals for the fellowship and what are the things you're going to benefit from the institute track? So it's in your essay, you're going to write it, okay, Dora? So it's in your essay. And they might ask you that question when you get to the interview. What are your goals? And so you have to be able to say that and say it with a lot of energy, zest, because it's your thing. No, it's no other person's thing. So yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Next is institute track. So people in business, business is the everything is the best thing, but I did not do business, but I was envious of the people who were doing business during the fellowship. Business is one of the sweet things in the fellowship because you are really geared to build your businesses. So who wants to read what is on the screen? Again, I did not write this. This is what IREX wrote. So these are things that I cannot change, but I can only tell you how to make sure that you fit in what they are looking for. So who wants to read what is expected from the business track?
Okay, maybe I just read that.
Okay, someone that's not read
Mhm.
before.
Okay.
Go for it.
Leadership in business. Leadership in business institutes will provide fellows with an overview of U.S. entrepreneurial strategies in the for-profit sector and socially minded enterprises. Institute programming will examine the development history, challenges, and successes of U.S. enterprises in both the United States and global markets, while providing space for fellows to discuss related challenges and opportunities on the African continent. Fellows will develop key.
Pause.
Okay.
So you see, you're going to learn what is happening in the US and you're going to discuss how this relates with the continent. So that's very important. All right, go continue.
Fellows will develop key skills in business and entrepreneurship, such as business plan development, sustainability in business, marketing, business ethics, regional and international trade, and the importance of public-private partnerships.
Pause. In your application, right, for those in business, state clearly what business skills and entrepreneurship skills you're looking for. Do you want to learn how to write business plans? Do you want to learn how to make your business sustainable? Is it marketing? Is it your go-to-market strategy? So I'm just going to add here go-to-market strategy, GTM, for those of us who are in business. Is it go-to-market strategy? Is it how do you make your business ethical? And international trade, how do you collaborate internationally? So don't list all of this. Pick 1, 2, maximum 3 that tie to your current need. Public-private partnership is a very important thing. It's a difficult thing in most African countries to partner with the government. But again, how do you do that? So you want to learn how people in the US have done it over the years. It's very important, please. So this particular paragraph is what you should make sure that stands out in your application, because they'll ask you why the business track. Now, there are some skills that have not been listed here. So one thing I would do is going back and typing on a search engine, what are business skills that I can get from a training? Type it on Google and see the things that are come out, see the long list, and then pick it and see the ones that are tied to you and put in your applications. Are we together?
Yeah.
Good. So yeah. Now, continue.
These institutes will give fellows the opportunity to engage with the local business community to spur the development of innovative ideas, identify new markets, and establish links for future collaborations.
Good. So that is what will happen if you do everything up there. Are we clear? Good. Anyway, so business, craft your essay, show your problem, show your market strategy, show your traction, and you're going to be selected. So again, we're going to see how to write the essays in the next session. So that is it. Who wants to read about leadership and civic engagement?
Can I go?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. Leadership in civic engagement. Leadership in civic engagement institute to provide fellows with an overview of how citizens have shaped U.S. history, government, and society, both as individuals and as groups. Institute programming defines civic engagement, studies its development in the United States, and examines U.S. case studies with particular relevance to the African continent. Fellows.
Pause there. Pause. So again, if you are somebody that is a leader and you've been engaged with groups and things like that, so this is an ideal place for you. So again, this is what you're going to learn, okay? And this is what the fellowship is looking for. So you're going to see how the government and its people and its groups have been able to shape their own thing and how that's relevant to the US. So yes, next paragraph.
Fellows will develop skills and study approaches as they relate to citizenship, economic development, social justice, political activism, grassroots organizing, volunteerism, and the use of media and technology to advance civic causes.
Good. Pause. Now, this is a little bit vague, right? This is telling. This is not showing. Are we together? What is social justice? Right? Anybody can define it in a word. So for those of us in the civic engagement part, it's a trap because somebody will come and copy this and put in their essay and they'll just know that you copy pasted. So the homework you have to do is, what skills are you looking for in the civic engagement track? So again, take your time, go to the search engine. What are citizenship skills that work in civic engagement, in economic development, in social justice, political activism, grassroots organizations? So pick out those skills. So these skills come from team building, problem solving, transformational project development, sustainability of your projects, and all of that. And now, what tools are used? Social media. Don't just say social media. Go very specific. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Reddit. Mention those things. So these are captions for you to go further. Are we together?
Yeah.
So really look at your work and pick out 3 things and pick out 2, 3 skills. Again, you have a word count. So pick out very things that really add up to your story. Some people pick things but they don't tie with the story they are telling. Again, that's how you differentiate yourself from very good and excellent. You pick the skills you need that tie with your story. And if everybody is excellent, they'll find the person that gives better. That ties to their story and they've demonstrated knowledge and interest in it. Are we together?
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, last paragraph.
These institutes will connect fellows to community organizations to gain new insight into the intersectionality of issues and their impact on civic participation.
Excellent. Thank you very much. That's what you get if you go there. So not much. Great. Who wants to read public management? Oops, I've not still highlighted on public management, so I'm going to talk more here. Hopefully we have 5 more minutes to the end. So hopefully we get this. But who wants to read this, please? Hello, hello, hello. Who wants to read? Adolf.
Okay, I
Adolf,
can.
it's okay. There's somebody that's not spoken. I've been hearing only female voices. It's not gender balanced. I need a male voice to read. Adolf, Venceslas, those are people that have been on this call.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry for putting you on the spot, but I just want to be sure that everybody is awake. Okay.
Okay, let me go ahead.
Yeah.
Leadership in Public Management Institutes will provide fellows with an overview of how regional economic and workforce development, financial management, and the global knowledge economy shape both the domestic and foreign policy processes. Institute programming will delve into topics such as the role of law, education, public health, climate change, environmental sustainability, and public sector transparency and accountability. Fellows will develop skills and approaches as they release the policies, as they relate to policy. To policy development and evaluation, public finance and budgeting, ethical leadership, and good governance. The Institute will provide access for fellows to leaders at the end, for fellows to leaders at the local, regional. Your head is covering the report.
My head.
Yes,
sorry.
And state levels to learn about the implications of policy decisions on communication and your head blocking.
Is it better now?
You can just pull the screen. The person reading, you can pull the screen. Adolf, you can pull the screen to the left or to the right.
And
You'll be able to
business.
see.
Yes.
Yeah, and businesses. All right, perfect. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Adolf. So people who are in government positions and managing offices, it's very tricky to craft your application, but it doesn't mean that you cannot apply for this. So this is what this section is simply telling you. So you see that they're going to tell you about how to build policy, how to contribute to changing things in your own workspace. So again, you see that the topics are vague. The rule of law, education, public health. Public health is big. Climate change is big. Environmental spaces is big. So in your office that you're working in, what is the thing you're focused on? And because you're working in a public space, what are the projects you're managing and how can you change and effectively improve what you're doing? So that's what you're basically going to be doing. And so that's what your story should really highlight. So those of us who are in business offices, please pay attention to that. So again, you're going to go to the search engine and ask yourself, rule of law, what is it all about? And what new thing can I learn about the rule of law? And so you'll be specific that you want to learn the ethical involvement of citizens in the establishment of laws that manage them during your fellowship. That is one thing you want to learn. You want to learn about how to bring in the citizens in discussions around building health policies to improve access to healthcare in your country, in your province, in your region. You understand? So that is how basically you write your essays. If you're working in the Ministry of Environmental Sciences and whatever, so you say, yes, climate change is a big thing, but now you want to understand ongoing policies in the US, how they were developed and crafted and implemented. For instance, in the US, they have garbage bins that are different on how to recycle things. They have reusable papers, they have laws and penalties and all of that. And so you want to understand how these laws were developed for the planet. So you see that in writing your application, you're basically using these prompts and these pointers to narrow it to your own story and to your needs, and not just keep it out there fake. So that is it about the tracks. The last thing today is to talk about your CV. I already shared a guide on how to write your CV. The fellowship has also given us a guide on how to write our CVs in the application form. At this point, I'm going to just swap on the CV. But please, do we have any questions on the track? We are exactly 8:30. We might run through for another 10 minutes, if that's okay by us.
So I have this question.
Go
Now,
for it.
I look at the second question, the second AC question actually, which talks about you discussing on your preferred track.
Track. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, giving the reasons why you choose that, the skills you hope to gain. But the second part of that question, to me, it's a little bit tricky. It says, how will those skills and that knowledge enhance your activities in your community and help you realize the goals you noted in the previous question? Now,
Mm-hmm.
I want to believe that, and yeah, tell me wrong, tell me I'm wrong if I am. I want to believe that your preferred track should be in line with your current professional or your career path. Is that
Mm,
so?
yes and no. So
So
your
that's why I said it was a bit tricky, because when I read the second part of that question, it became clear to me that whatever track you're choosing has something to do with your current career path. But again, the intriguing part about it is, what if you're choosing that particular track because your experiences in the past is where you have so much impact and that's what you want to share on, and it doesn't have anything to do with your current career path. How do you balance the two?
so for instance, so in another space, I will present myself as a business person, I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm a medical entrepreneur. You understand? Are we together? So I'm going to say, hi all, I am Sintieh. I'm Dr. Sintieh. I'm a medical entrepreneur, and I am passionate about using technology and improving access to healthcare for people with chronic diseases. Okay.
Mm.
Now, in the past, I have served in a capacity as a clinician. But what has driven me to want to pursue a more business entrepreneurial career is because I believe that um, establishing sustainable structures in healthcare needs to have a sustainable profit plan. And so I have consciously been seeking opportunities to understand the business models in healthcare and how to make sure that the least in the economic food chain, the poorest, can be able to have access to healthcare and afford it, importantly. And so with this, I am working with a team of entrepreneurs, uh, software developers, to build something that is going to provide support to people who have chronic diseases. And it's a kind of njangi that they are able to save their funds and be able to then use these funds to get drugs for interest and in long term. Now, this is a hypothetical example, but what I'm saying is that your track must not be your current work. Now,
Okay.
if what you want to do is basically because you're going there to learn something and give something. So if you've had impact so much and you want to learn something new, for instance, you have engaged a lot in educating people, and now you want to build a business around health education, around education. So you're going to the business track, but you're going to mention that, yes, before you were basically doing this for impact, but you found that it was not sustainable. So you want to learn how to build a business model around education. Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah. So the
Okay.
advice I'm
Okay.
going to give to all of us is that at the end of the session today in our closed WhatsApp forum, please drop your 50-word summary of yourself for me, because when we are crafting the aces during the next session, I'm going to be using everyone's story. I'm going to pick randomly everyone's story to make it, just tell it better how I'm going to say it. And you can then pick it up and see how to craft your examples. It might not work, but it will just be proposals for everyone. Is that okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions in the room? Any other questions? Jane Francis, Dora, any other questions? So I'm going to just highlight that in the application document, you have a discussion on your CV, right? Please take this together with, I'm sharing the screen now, take this together with the guide on how to write your CV that I've proposed. I'm also going to drop my own CV. In fact, so this is my application that was selected. I'm going to drop this. So this is my CV, and that's what I wanted to just run through. I'm going to drop these to you people in the WhatsApp group, and you see how I drafted my CV and for the application, and then you can also use it to draft your own. Again, don't copy paste, because if you copy paste, it's going to show that you copied and you're going to disqualify your application. But what I'm doing is basically to support you, to facilitate your writing process. So what I really want that at the end of today is that we are able to craft our stories. Don't write the essays today at the end of this application, but have those eligibility criteria and write how you would differentiate yourself from it. So this is still my CV. It's quite long, so that's it. So I'm going to share this entire application from the beginning with you all in the group, how I filled my application and all of that, so that you see it. In the institute track, mine was civic engagement first, and then business second, and then public management. So if you are someone that wants to do business, you're going to put business first and public management. I'm also going to get applications from other fellows in the other tracks who had this business first and public management first, so that I'm going to share with you people, and you're going to look at all of that. And that is going to help you craft the part of your applications up to the CVs. And then when we have the workshop on the essays, you can already write your essays, but then when we have the workshop on the essays, you can then review and improve your essays. Are we together?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Yes,
Good. Any questions? Any particular questions? We are 7 minutes over time. I am very conscious of that. So any particular questions? Any particular questions, leaders and prospective MWF 2025?
I have no questions for now.
All right, good. So, Jane Francis has no questions. Dora, any questions from your end?
Please, I just wanted to know regarding the assignment. You said we should write 50 words describing, and we should send to you via TV or we should send it in a group.
No, in the WhatsApp group. I'm going to be reading. I wanted to share your answers from the last form, but I'm not going to share it yet. We're going to look at it when we start with the essays. Yeah, but yeah, that should be done on the WhatsApp forum. It's on a closed group. So just type your 50 words. 50 words, please, not more than 50.
All right, though.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
I
Thank
have
you,
a
Jude.
question.
Yes, Odette, go for it.
Okay, my question is if for what for example, my own case, the project that I'm about to write on, I just started it, like I started implementing it, and the small team, because we are co-leading, we are two of us, the small team just started this March, so the impact has not yet really been voiced. But apart from that, I mentioned the fact that I created a school club where I started the activities there. Am I going to be eligible enough, or I need to show more impact? I don't know. Or it'll be based on the way I write my essays.
So the answer to it is based on how you sell yourself.
Okay.
So like I will not say my small team that I'm working with, no. I would say yes, I have been working for 5 years in this space and I just started a new project and I am co-leading it with another expert who has this experience in this and complements my experience. So far, we've been able to impact just 50 persons, or we've just been able to run just 2 workshops. But what we anticipate to do during and after the fellowship is to expand our impact to these places and target this population. If this happens, then we are going to say that our true success, our true north is going to be that we'll impact this number of people in 1 year, in 2 years, in 3 years, and then the fellowship would have supported us with the following skills that I think I need for this, which is around building a team, because our team is still early and young. I want to put in a framework that is going to make us last for eternity. Will be around making a sustainable project, because I want to be able to manage a project while I am doing my fellowship and all of that. How does that sound as an introduction for your small project?
It's very perfect.
See, there's a lot of work to do. This is just crap.
Yeah.
I'm just saying gibberish. But you understand, it's about how you sell your story. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much, though. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other questions from the board? Any other questions? Yes, Dora, your hand is raised.
Yes, though, please, sorry for all my questions. So I wanted to
It's
ask,
fine.
okay, if you're a medical doctor and then now your business has nothing to do with medicine, I mean, you're into jewelries, for example,
Yes.
like I would say, like my example, I'm into jewelries for about 3 years now, like online stuff. So if I'm supposed to talk about it, I don't know if it's like I don't really know. I don't know if it's something that can be talked about, like, because I have my brand, like a Facebook page and things like that.
Which is good. Good. So I'll say 2 things to you, and this adds up to Karin's question. Must you be talking about, must you select a track that aligns with your career or not? But I'm going to give you an example of Fese. Fese is one of our fellows this year, and she is a lawyer, but she came to the fellowship as a businesswoman because she runs Eloli. Eloli is a brand, a fashion brand that she's been leading. Okay. And so her entire application was, yes, I am a lawyer, but today I want to talk to you people about, oh, we've lost Dora. I want to talk to you people about my fashion brand where it's about showcasing African diversity. Okay, that was a strong statement. I cannot say it as perfectly as her, but that's it. So it's around showcasing the African diversity with her fashion brand. And so basically all what they do at Lolly is designing dresses with African fabric and custom made and things like that. So to you, Dr. Bonjo, is simply to say that yes, I am a medical doctor, but I am coming to you as a businesswoman who has been leading this jewelry line. And our main reason for existence is to be able to showcase maybe jewelries made from Cameroon and how we stand out and the African uniqueness of our jewelries. And so far, we've been able to have this amount of customers. So show your traction. It's 3 years, means you've been making millions. So show your traction, show what you've been making, and then show them why you're coming for the fellowship. You want to now learn how to, for instance, I am someone who very likes fashion. And so I tell people my corporate outfits are African corporate. And so I'll wear a suit with a piece of an African fabric. So something like that. So you want to come to the US now and learn on how to improve your African brand and see if you can have a Cameroonian US jewelry brand and things like that. And so you're looking forward to partnering, building with other US jewelry brands. And don't be afraid to cite them. Chanel, Dior, and the rest. Look for the US. I don't know. I don't know why Dior and Chanel is coming in because those are French brands, but look for US brands because you have to showcase that your interest is coming from the US. So I don't know if I've answered your question.
You have answered my question. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's good. So yep. Any other worries? Adolf, Killian, who has not spoken?
I have a
Yes,
question again.
yes, Odette, go for it.
When I was reading through the application, I saw something about the yearly community, the engagement. Are we supposed to be under the yearly community before applying?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. You don't need to be under it. And it's something that you can just apply for online now and be receiving their emails. But it has nothing to do with you. So
Okay.
just again, it's about your story. It's about showing your impact and not telling your impact and making yourself really differentiating yourself from all other applications. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Any other worries?
No, I don't have any issue now. I'm just going to go through your CV, and then obviously some questions might come and I'll just drop them to you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
that's fine. Okay, perfect. So, guys, this is the end of our first workshop. The WhatsApp group is open for everyone to drop their questions, worries about the application. We don't only want you to, we don't share something outside the fellowship. And again, you guys have ideas. So somebody might drop something that somebody has already come across it. You might be having a challenge, and because somebody has seen it before, the person might propose it, not necessarily me. So drop your questions, keep the group interactive, support each other. You guys, you just need to craft your applications very competitively. That's why at the end of the next session, now I'm going to read everyone's essay and the full application and then review it, make sure that your story is compelling. So that's basically how we're going to work. So now you have the information. So today or tomorrow, the rest day between the workshops, take your time and open a blank sheet like this. Blind me always uses a blank sheet that is dark during the night because my eyes are very dark, and start drawing boxes of impact like you've seen me. Sorry, my screen is not making it, but you can see boxes of impact on your screen and things like that. Write. Take those eligibility criteria and write how you differentiate yourself from it. That was a question I asked when doing your entry form. And it's a reason because it helps you to craft your story better. And then we're going to meet in the next workshop. Tomorrow there is an information session organized by the 2024 Cameroonian Fellows. I'm going to be moderating that. If you're free, attend and hear and pick up tips from other people. And then we'll continue with our own workshops later. So without much ado, I am going to let you all have a great night and have a wonderful week. Thank you very much for joining. This has
Thank you.
been
Thank you.
me, Sintieh,
Thank
and
you,
I'm
Doc.
happy to support you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc. Please don't
Thank
forget
you.
to share the document.
Thank you so much. Bro. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. You're welcome.
Thank you, Doc.
All right.